Hello folks, and welcome to your ultimate guide in how to look after your body and unlock its genetic potential by myself, Alexander George Middleditch. And for those of you who are wondering what the AGM stands for, it's just simply my initials, Alexander George Middleditch. And the reason why I spell holistics the way I do, rather than just a H, is because if you look at the definition of the words relating to something that is a whole, as in complete, it has a W in front of it, whereas something with holes in, as in digging a hole in the ground or holes in your t-shirt, which is something we don't want, holes in any plan or health related fitness goals that we want to achieve, is obviously spelled with just a H. So in order to differentiate that, we're going to look at the whole picture of what it takes to become healthy and vital and to get you to achieve your health and lifestyle related goals. So with that being said, I recommend, if you haven't done so by now, downloading this PDF manual, which is accompanying this course that we're going to work through systematically with these slides, which obviously is going to help immensely in your learning, and go through this in your own time. And obviously you're going to have access to all these videos on top of that you can come back to, which is going to help, it's going to be indexed, so it's going to be easy for you to access certain topics and certain points if you need to come back to it and have like a refresher and a reminder of some of the knowledge that's going to be shared here on this course in order to get you to where you want to be in regards to your health and lifestyle related goals. Okay, so with that being said, let's dive into this and work through these slides, and we'll just go through the introduction. So welcome and congratulations on taking that step towards achieving your health and lifestyle related goals. Whether you're a beginner looking to lose weight and improve overall fitness, to a seasoned athlete who is looking to improve performance, or maybe someone who is facing some health related challenges, or someone who wishes to build a better relationship with self, i.e. your body, and become a more symbiotic organism to Mother Nature, this program will guide you through the necessary education and action items you can take that will help you achieve your goals. Now, as a society, we've come to forget what it takes to actually be healthy, often neglecting the body's many cries for tender love, care and repair, which is the yin principle. As a result of this rapacious and overly yang society we have manufactured. In spite of all these tremendous achievements in science and technology-based medicines, we have never lived in a time where we have so much disease prevalent in today's society. As Sherry Rogers MD points out in her book, The Scientific Rationale of Natural Cancer Therapies, this is the first time in history that humans have been exposed to so many environmental toxins. Additionally, we are eating foods with minimal nutritional value. Once you're exposed to an environment that is highly toxic and you have foods with low nutritional value, that is a very dangerous combination. It's no wonder then that ever since the rise of commercial farming practices since the 1940s, the rates of disease and degeneration has increased and overall health plummeted. As the decades progressed, for instance, the rate at which people were at risk of developing cancer went from somewhere around 1 in 10, which is 10% in the 1930s, to now 1 in 2, which is a 50% chance. Moreover, as you'll see later on in the guide, many native tribes who are untouched by the Western diet and all the environmental toxins that came with it never had a word for cancer and were mostly disease-free until they started eating and living like the West. So we have a medical industry, that profits immensely in keeping sick people vertical with the palliative and allopathic medical approach, as most of you would know. This is why so-called death rates may seem to have declined, as more and more advanced medicines and technologies are keeping the dead walking, whilst never addressing the root cause. After all, the industry can't make money from healthy people, so these statistics can be very misleading. Like, yes, okay, we've got the most amount of people living to, a ripe old age, but the only reason why they're doing so is because they're, consuming and subscribing to all these medicines in order to keep them vertical and living longer. When in reality, if they didn't have that medicine there, they would be returned back to the soil, unfortunately. So it said that 90% of all disease can be attributed to diet and lifestyle choices alone. A maximum 10% can be prescribed due to genetics, thanks to Bruce Lipton's research with stem cells, meaning the etiology, which is just the root cause of most diseases plaguing society today, can be attributed to bad diet and lifestyle choices. And as you can see here, this is some of the pollutions you can see, which is obviously this chemical toxicity that is pumped into not only our atmosphere, our waters, in our grounds and our soils, but obviously ends up in the foods, which we then eat those foods, and those animals which are in these toxins which, you know, obviously just follow the logic. You are what you eat, and if you're eating all these kind of intoxicated foods and you're living in an intoxicated environment, like Sherry Rogers pointed out, and the nutritional value of these foods is very minimal, there's obviously going to be huge problems, which is what we see going on today. So the big pharmaceutical companies have held a monopoly in healthcare for the last 100 years. This business does not allow competition and is ruthless. There's so much money to make from licenses, patents and government grants that any alternative medicine solution and prevention through proper nutrition and exercise is immediately discarded, ridiculed, smeared or judged. Doctors suffer the most because they are executive agents of the health system. They are front line of this trench warfare, prohibited from doing anything that might violate the policies of pharmaceutical law. They can be barred from medical practice and lose all chance of working again. The situation creates an internal conflict, and this conflict creates illness. According to statistics, the average lifespan of a doctor is 56 years old, and the profession has the highest rate of female suicides. That's very sad, isn't it? All the doctors today study the sick to determine how to get healthy. What we must turn back to is treating the patient that has the disease, and not the disease that has the patient. The Western scientific model for health also loves to chop everything up into tiny pieces and decompartmentalise the body, procuring specialists in their given field and PhDs, which I like calling programmed to a high degree, where they know more and more about less and less, until they know absolutely everything about nothing. And you've got to look at all the different departments in the hospitals relating to the human body. A specialist in one area, you know, wouldn't be able to tell you any more about another department except maybe the doctor's name. And so, you know, this is the kind of predicament we find ourselves in, with this kind of scientific left-brained approach to health. And as you can see here, some of the images, you know, people are just dying to get over our overpriced drugs, and the pharmaceutical industry does not create cures, they create customers. So, you know, to not look at the body as a whole when addressing any health challenges or goals is myopic, to say the least. Many doctors don't spend any time assessing the cause of illness because they are mandated to hit a certain quota of patients a day, where they prescribe pills, potions, lotions and snake oil for big pharma. You know, if your doctor prescribes you medication without first asking about your diet, sleep, exercise, hydration, orthopedic issues, which are just muscular and skeletal related issues, and stress in your life, then you don't have a doctor, you have a drug dealer. And that's the sad truth, unfortunately. You know, conventional medicine uses mainly toxins to heal, which explains the symbol, the caduceus, or the rod of Asclepius, I think it is, with the serpent wrapped around the staff, which you can see down here, which denotes basically the toxicity that they use. So it says toxicity depends on the dose, and pharmacists learn to use the right amounts to heal people. So within the snake's venom, you obviously have got a recipe or a chemical solution there that can kill someone, but from that you can actually extract and make the anti-venom, so it can obviously kill and cure. And so through treating people with poisons, as it were, in the right measures, you can actually kill off any pathogens, viruses, you know, or bad bacteria that might be inside your body, whilst, you know, not really doing much damage to your good cells, in order to eradicate whatever ailment you have. And this has obviously been used for quite a long time in medicine. So to give you an example of some of these chemicals that are used in medicines today, we have, you know, mercury, which is a potent neurotoxin, also called thimerosal, present in numerous pharmaceutical products such as antiseptic solution, methylate and vaccines. We have morphine, the cousin of the illegal drug heroin, known for its powerful hallucinogenic effects. You have formaldehyde, a highly toxic substance that causes cancer, allergies and blindness, and can be lethal at 30 milliliter per cubic meter, provoking lung failure. It is used in most vaccines for both adults and children as preservatives. You have warfarin, coumadin, a blood thinner, the same substance that is widely used as a rat poison because it causes fatal hemorrhages. Got nitroglycerin, substance used to make dynamite, is used in medicine as a sublingual spray for people with heart problems. Methotrexate is a drug used in the treatment of both cancer and arthritis, with strong secondary effects due to its high levels of toxicity that have provoked numerous deaths. You've got fluoxetine, present in the most widely used tranquilizers. Cortisone is one of the drugs responsible for saving the most lives, especially those in critical conditions. However, long-term consumption of cortisones eliminates the eosinophils of the white blood cells in the body in charge of removing parasite larvae from the blood. And you can see here, obviously in this image, just expand it, you know, hey Sonny, you look depressed, here take some Prozac, you're hyperactive, you need Ritalin, take this, take that, it's okay, I'm a doctor. And that's a typical drug pusher, unfortunately. And it is that kind of this for that approach that this kind of medical industry has engineered in order to, you know, make a lot of money. So bureaucracy has been one of the major obstacles for humanity. New drug regulations require a minimum period of 8 to 10 years before new substance can gain approval. Aside from considerable investment, no one seems to realise that this means only the biggest companies have the necessary funds to develop a new drug. Since they have the capital, it's just another investment to yield returns, as they just increase the final price of the product once it gets the green light. That is the case with Xanax, an anti-anxiety drug with a 56,000% sales margin. That's just crazy if you think about it. By becoming learned of the contents within this manual and putting them into practice, you'll be more than equipped to take back your sovereignty in health and remove your reliance on a system that only wants you sick so they can sell you drugs to make more money. That being said, modern medicine used in conjunction with addressing important dietary and lifestyle changes has proven to be very effective. So as always, you know, make sure you check with your practitioner before following any self-care advice outlined in this program, alongside any medications you may be on before commencing, as I will not be held liable for any adverse effects from the advice given on this course. But you know, like I said, most of this is quite self-explanatory and common sense, so you'll be able to realise yourself kind of the game we're in and what is going on. Right, so yeah, one thing you will learn throughout this course is that our bodies are made up of many systems that all work in unison with one another. A complex and highly intelligent system, our bodies replace over 2 million blood cells a second, whilst managing over 10 billion biochemical reactions in that same time. Truly incredible. You have to ask yourself the question, you know, what are you replacing those blood cells with? Is it that latte you just drank, you know, those French fries, that Big Mac, that fizzy drink, or was it that organic apple or organic broccoli or steak? The problem with society today is that many have their priorities all wrong. They're driving the fancy car but consuming the cheap garbage foods. You know, all you're going to do is pull up outside any McDonald's drive-through and count how many 20k plus cars pull out, or better yet, have a look at the foods on the cashier's belt waiting to be scanned and look at the person in the line. You'll start seeing the patterns emerge. You are what you eat, and obviously you can see a few images of that fact. And I see it all the time, sadly, and as you become more conscious of, you know, the things that we put into our bodies and what goes on, you will start seeing this as well in society. But you don't have to be rocket science to realise, you know, what you put in basically ends up expressing itself in every single cell in your body, and so there's no escaping that kind of eating crap and getting away with it. Unfortunately, treating your body like a garbage pail, you will end up looking like trash. So during this course, you will learn to make better food choices as you raise your awareness of the foods you should be eating that is right for your metabolic type. You also learn to identify pathologies based on the poor food and lifestyle choices you make, so you know what impact these choices will have on your body. Using the Pareto principle, if you're doing it right 80% of the time, you can relax a little 20% of the time and treat yourself without manifesting disease. And you've got to think that's like 2 days a week. So as long as you're doing it right 5 days a week, you can kind of relax a little bit for 2 of the days, like Saturday, Sunday, for instance. And just doesn't mean you could go, you know, all out eating trash. And what you find is, as soon as you start cleaning up your diet and eating well and exercising right and doing all the things that otherwise, you know, reinforces good health, you would actually want to avoid a lot of these cheat meals altogether, because it will bring your energy down. You'll be more sensitive to these junk foods and toxicities that you're exposed to, which is really quite interesting, something that I found firsthand. So, you know, the solution is a very simple one. We must get educated and go back to the basics and start building a better relationship with ourselves, the foods we eat and the planet we live on. Know thyself is a philosophy revered by many of the greatest thinkers throughout time, and is a goal that all of them aspire to achieve, something this course will help you attain. By knowing thyself, you'll come to know how best to live and eat that will ensure you unlock your genetic potential while suppressing any weaknesses. You will learn to love your body, the food you eat, and the earth that provides you with all her wonderful bounty, which is something we always often take for granted, unfortunately. By achieving renewed baseline health and vitality, you'll be able to focus more of your time and energy into the things you love, like your family, friends, loved ones, and hobbies, goals that all make you happy. So this program is designed to get you up to speed with all the amazing literature, the scientific facts and logic that is out there in as little time as possible. I realise we all live busy lives, so I've tried my best to condense all of the information into important bite-sized pieces. I highly recommend following along in the order it's presented, as it naturally builds upon itself. Be patient with yourself. There will be a lot of information to take in, but take your time and go through it multiple times until it becomes second nature to you. And most importantly, take action on what you've learned to put this into practice. We all start off unconsciously incompetent, not knowing what we don't know. We then become consciously incompetent, aware of what we don't know, to consciously competent, and finally unconsciously competent, which is where it becomes second nature to us. In order to become proficient in these things, you must dedicate yourself. As the old saying goes, where focus goes, energy flows. So by focusing on this program and implementing the knowledge shared, you would definitely see the results you wish to achieve. It's normally said that 7 times exposure is the general rule of thumb before something becomes unconsciously competent for yourself. So don't be afraid to go over the materials over and over again. It will always be here as your guide and reference when needed. So like any coach, it is my goal for all clients of mine and my intention for all who are partaking in this course to become self-sufficient and learned of all that is taught here. As the saying goes, give a man a fish and he can eat for the day, teach a man how to fish and he can eat for the rest of his life. That's the philosophy I adopt, and that's something that I want you guys, every single one of you going through this program, is to really embrace and take on board, so you can become the change you want to see and be self-sufficient in that regards when relating anything to do with your health and lifestyle related goals and achievements. So, through becoming, you will be the change you want to see, and that which the world so desperately needs. All I ask in return is that you will be honest with yourself, responsible, and willing to put the time and effort in to make lasting change in your life, whatever the goal. With all that being said, I would like to personally introduce you to your 4 doctors, the 2 forces, the 3 choices, 6 core principles, the human body, and finally your diet and lifestyle questionnaire, so you can start building a better relationship with your body, and so we can specifically pinpoint areas in your life that need improving. Remember, how you do anything is how you do everything. Right guys, I'll see you in the next video where we'll be going over the 4 doctors. Okay, see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.